Lee County's economic development is being recognized as the best organization of its kind by the International Economic Development Council.
WGEM's Dylan Smith is live from its offices tonight, where he learned more about what projects are underway. And Dylan, what can you tell us?
Yes, Daniel and Raja, really since the pandemic, getting broadband services to every home in Lee County has been a focal point. But as I learned in a sit down with the CEO this afternoon, there's plenty more on tap. Internet access is a staple in today's world. Without it, you might feel disconnected.
Most of rural areas will have an opportunity to be connected to fiber.
The president and CEO of Lee County Economic Development, Dennis Fraise, says the backbone of that goal is now complete. It essentially circles Lee County so that companies can now come in and expand off that loop to connect underserved areas.
If there's a cut in the line, that means that the information can be rerouted on the back side or the front side, depending on where the cut's at, and so there's no loss of that service.
Lee County Board of Supervisors Chair Gary Seib says that backbone has attracted roughly $20 million in new investments for broadband, and companies are already in contact to build off that line. A targeted area specifically is Weaver.
I don't believe that at this point we can name all the groups that are coming in, but there's been a lot of interest expressed, and we hope to see some of that materialize very soon.
But fiber isn't all. Attached to Lee County Economic Development is a sustainable packaging business, PV Pallet. Fraise leased space to help the business get established. Attached to that, Lee County's Career Advantage Center. 3 entities all under one roof.
The idea is that they'll be able to be exposed to manufacturing careers, because that can be tough for a lot of people. They don't know, when very few people grow up saying, oh, I think I want to work in manufacturing. They don't even know what that means.
And Fraise says 1 in roughly every 4 Lee County workers are manufacturing employees, and that's responsible for about $250 million annually in wages. Live in Lee County, Dylan Smith, WGEM News.
Thank you, Dylan. Fraise says they've recently received a $2 million grant through Representative Miller Meeks to buy more equipment and remodel the building.